everybody. This is Les, aka SistaSlaya, here with the Tingling Tea, where we spill the tea on the strange and the supernatural, the weird and the wonderful, the freaky and the phenomenal, and all that is incredibly creepy. I am so excited to have my two guests here this evening. I have, of course, August, who, is a skeptic. August has always been here and everything like this. But Annabelle, unfortunately, is not with us this evening. She is at her brother's wedding. Hello, Annabelle. So we are so excited to have Angie Hansen come and join us.
Yay, Angie Hansen!
Yay, we're so excited. So just so you know, if you don't know Angie, Angie's an award-winning horror director, actress, and producer, and she's known for her short films The Pumpkin Queen and Trance, as well as her acting roles in films Matryoshka and Waited for You, Ghouls Night Out, The Au Pair, Theater of Horror, Bloody Nun, Clark County Massacre, and the horror series The Sin Reapers. And upon features, her upcoming feature she's going to be doing is The Dark Tales from Channel X, which is so good. I absolutely love it. Bloody Nun 2 and Solitaires. She is perhaps most well known for her role as creative director of Blood Manor in New York City, which I've always tried to go to.
Well, you have to next time.
Oh, honey, now?
Oh,
yes,
we're going.
We're going.
We're going next time.
No, after COVID, yes, we will be. But if you don't know anything about Blood Manor, that is a haunted attraction here in New York City. Of course, it was closed because of 2022 Halloween season and COVID.
It wasn't actually.
No, we were open.
What? Tell me what happened. Oh my God, girl, I'm sorry.
We could have gone this year. Damn it.
Oh my gosh. Well, now we definitely have to go. We definitely have to go. One of the things that I love about Blood Manor is that you all have a theme every year. You have something. So what did we miss this year for 2020?
This year was crazy. We redid our we have 2 floors. We have a bloody floor and a 3D floor. And our 3D floor, we completely gut renovated. We made it like biomechanical with like wires and all sorts of like steampunk stuff. It was really, really insane.
Oh my God, that sounds incredible.
Oh my gosh. How much time does that take to put all that together? I mean, do you prep the whole entire year? Do you have a committee that makes you decide what it is that you are going to, what type of theme you're going to have each year? How do you all do that?
So this year, because of COVID, we didn't think we were going to open. So we literally just sat and waited and then put our proposal into the government and waited to see if we could open. We found out like 3 weeks before we were going to open.
What? 3 weeks?
Wait a minute. How did you get your actors and everything together for that?
And do a complete gut reno. What?
We did it all in 3 weeks. It was insane. I did feverish casting. I mostly had veteran actors. So I had like a core of actors. Obviously, a lot of them moved out of the city because, there's no work.
Right.
Sure.
But so I emailed, I texted people. I did some ads on Backstage and got a few new people, but it was almost exclusively veterans.
Wow.
So,
oh my gosh. And they were really appreciative of that work.
Yeah. I hired a mask maker who is Shannon Ray Mulligan. She's pretty big in the indie film special effects scene. And she custom made all of these creepy COVID compliant masks. Then the actors had masks underneath those masks. It was insane. We slept there. All the designers and builders were working around the clock.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I love that. Was that captured anywhere? Do you have a documentary about all that work?
Not really, because we were so concerned that we were going to get it all done.
Oh.
It feels like one of those design shows where they're trying to do everything right before the people are about to arrive.
Yeah.
They're quick paint the wall.
It was insane. And there was one point I was like, are we gonna get this done? They're like, oh yeah. I'm and I'm looking and I'm like, we have 2 days to opening. Like, how are we going to get this done? But they did it. Like, they pulled it all together. I said, the actors are going to be ready. I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is that there's actually going to be, like, the set is going to be done.
Sure.
But it was done. It was good.
How was your turnout?
Honestly, it was like the third busiest year we've ever had in years.
That's amazing.
Really? You know, people are looking for something to do. And
I think that's what it was.
Doing Halloween, that's like the pinnacle time of the year that people go out and do something. It's Halloween. You couldn't trick or treat. They had pretty much shut that down. You know, so it's no fun doing that.
We didn't have the Halloween parade.
Exactly.
We didn't have that. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy that worked out. Happy.
Honestly, it was awesome. Last weekend was our closing weekend. And it was so, like, for us to be able to do something like that during the pandemic and do it safely. Like, I had my actors tested for COVID frequently. Like, we did, you know, we put in a new air filtration system. We put in a UV system. Like,
wow.
I was coming around with, like, a sanitizer every hour, like, sanitizing, like, all the walls. I'm like, what do people touch? Like, it was crazy. Plus 2 nights, I think 2 nights, maybe 3 nights, I acted and managed to, like, make sure that the crowds were going through. I had a radio headset while I was scaring people.
Oh my God. Oh.
How many people go through that a night?
Typically anywhere between like 200 and 2,000, depending on how many hours were open. And with it having to be socially distant, it was crazy. We had 2 police officers there every night, making sure that we were compliant, and it was good.
We were talking right before we aired, and I used to work a block away from there. And I remember every night after I would leave work, seeing the amazing lines that were down the block. I mean, you couldn't see the end of the line. It was so popular. And people were so excited, and they were all dressed up, and they were pumped to go to Blood Manor. And I remember you had a sign that said Blood Manor in the window or something like that, because I would walk by and I would see it. And I would always tell people, we have to go to Blood Manor. Let's do that. And I couldn't find people at work that would go with me.
Actually, we were trying to go one time. Remember, we were trying to go when we were working.
I do.
Yes, we were trying to go. This was some years, because this has been going on for how many years have you been doing Blood Manor?
This is our 17th year.
Yes. So I believe when we were working downtown together, that we actually tried to go.
I'm sure we did. I'm sure we did.
45th and 6th.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I think so.
Angie, Les and I go way back.
Yeah, we do go way back.
We've known each other for 27 years?
Yes.
27?
Wow.
So we both, the interesting thing is that we both are actors, and we both met each other on this set of a commercial that we were doing. Actually, no, it was like it was 3 days event for
it was the top 100 television shows of all time on TV Land.
On TV Land, yes.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to be
Who's this? Who's joining us now?
Oh my gosh! This is my girl, Lizzie! Yay! Angie, we were trying to surprise you.
Surprise!
Look at her smile. It's so big. It's so big. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Lindsay Serrano, and she is a producer, director, and writer who has produced 3 feature films, 3 web series, and over 20 short films. Yeah. She co-directed The Attack of the Brain People and guest directed an episode of Zombie Hunters City of the Dead before completing her solo directorial debut with the short Beneath. You and I have a history, Lindsay. I want to tell you. So
really?
Yes. Hold that thought about Beneath. For which she was awarded Best Horror Director and Best First Time Director. Her most recent short, Misunderstood Monster, was nominated for a Rondo Award for the Best Short Film. Lindsay co-owns Mass Grave Pictures with her husband, Manny, and is the co-host of the Collection Resurrection podcast. Welcome, Lindsay.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Here's an interesting thing, you all, and then we'll get back to me in August's story. But Lindsay and Angie have a history, and so we were actually surprising Angie today because through a mutual friend, Katie Fox, out there from the Kate Fox Show, we needed a co-host this evening, and we wanted somebody who loved anything that had to do with horror. You know, that has to be the criteria. And here we are. She has two wonderful friends, and she said, reach out to both of them. Well, I tell you, when it rains, it pours, because I got them both. And so we were, you know, obviously they must really, really love to talk horror. So I am so excited that you are both here, and we are to talk about some of the films that you all have done together. But Eddie, go ahead and continue, because I'm actually sending something to Hash right now. But tell them about our how we met each other, and then I want to hear how you all met each other.
Oh, right. So Les and I were actors. We were stuck on we were doing this television show for 3 days in a studio in Brooklyn, and we didn't know what the heck we were doing on this particular show, and we ended up we thought we were going to be featured, but we were in the background. We weren't even in focus. so we ended up just like not even caring what we did the entire shoot, and just had a blast for 3 days. We just immediately figured out we were both into gaming. We were both into horror. We were both into all of these things, and we immediately bonded. So we had such a good time with each other. We've been great friends ever since, and that was 27 years ago.
That was 27 years ago. And I'm going to tell you, that was some of the best background work we've ever done. We made a lot of money on that background.
We did make a lot of money on that.
Let me tell you, we acted straight fools in the background. They had to tell us a lot of times, like, hey, listen.
We got yelled at a lot.
You're supposed to be looking like you're going through archives. Oh no, we were doing all kinds of stuff back there. And I was like, nobody sees us. We could go back here and do whatever. You know, nobody sees us. But it was the best fun. It was a studio in Queens. And I don't know if that studio still exists, but this studio was amazing. It had a sound stage on it. It had several rooms that were sound stages. Mm-hmm. One was like a haunted library. One was a rainforest.
It was a subway.
And
interior.
When we were getting ready to do our lunch, we would sit in all of these different places.
These environments, yeah. They also had the Hall of Justice, right? They had the Hall of Justice there, which is pretty freaking amazing.
That's really cool.
It was like a geek's wet dream. It was incredible. It was so good. Anyway,
I interned on Guiding Light when I first graduated from college, and being in the CBS studio was incredible because it had all the individual rooms, you know, so you're like starting off in one character's house and you walk through like a little passageway and you're in another character's house.
Yes.
And I was lucky enough that I got to work there during the holidays, so we got to decorate for like Thanksgiving, like Halloween, and then Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then we had a big New Year's party, and just seeing them turn those sets around was incredible.
Amazing. I love that stuff.
I have to tell you, I miss soap operas here in New York City. I had actually a recurring role on One Life to Live.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember you booking that.
Yes. And this is the thing that was amazing about it. And you are so right, Lindsay, to actually, and everything looks so small on the studio, but it looks so big on film.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh my God, this is the family mansion. This is like tiny. Or like if we were in the hospital, when we did hospital scenes, it was very tiny. And I was in the hospital a lot. I was a nurse at the hospital. The magic that is created by film is one of the most revelatory and just amazing things when you see it from one perspective on film, but when you see from behind this camera, it's amazing. So how did you all meet each other?
I feel like Angie's always been in my life. I don't know. I can't remember the dark time before I had her in my life.
I remember. So we met at Macabre Fair Film Festival in what year? Maybe 2015 or
What was the
2014. Yeah, I don't know. But that's where we met. We met at Macabre Fair Films Festival. And Elsie Ginsberg said, "This is somebody that you need to meet." She said, "You are a director and an actor," and I was kind of just starting out in the New York City horror film industry then, and she said, "This is somebody that you need to meet." So kind of the rest is history. We started working on movies together almost right after that. I think right January maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I want to tell you all that this is a small world.
Okay.
I'm part of a show called The Bitten Apple TV. And Miss Lindsay, you got interviewed by my illustrious manager, Chantel Cadman.
Yes.
And it's funny because when I was looking at some research about you, I came across that video and I was like, what? Oh my gosh, we were all at the same film festival.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm gonna tell you, that was an amazing film festival. I don't know if it's gonna go on. We lost Elsie this year, so sadly, she was battling cancer. So she's an amazing woman. She put on an amazing event. It was probably one of the finest horror events I've ever gone to.
Absolutely.
Where you know, one thing about being in the horror industry is it's like family. You all end up knowing each other, working with each other at some point, or you know. But yeah, that's interesting because you were there for Beneath, I believe. That was it. Yes. And see, look what happened. She introduced you all together. She knew. She had an eye for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, she did.
She really did.
She put a lot of us together. You know, I don't know what the scene's going to be like without her. But for those of us who are blessed enough to come in contact with her and become part of the family, even, there's nothing that's going to compare.
Yeah. I think that well, you know, she fought very long. She was very strong, and even despite that, when she was struggling, she still was able to put on that event, and it was just a class act.
Angie actually ran. Actually, Angie helped run that last year. She was the co-festival director.
Yeah, I was the event director.
Oh, so Angie, then I probably met you that year too when we came in, because we were interviewing on the red carpet. Oh wow. Yeah. Were you dressed up?
Of course.
Where were you dressed up as?
Like just myself.
That's
nice. Elsie made sure that you dressed up.
Yes,
you were not even allowed to be there if you were not dressed up.
Well, there were some people there that were in costume.
Oh no.
Yeah,
we were like dressed up in like evening gowns and stuff.
Oh yeah, we had to dress up because I remember I had to wear my fake fur for that one.
Yeah.
It's the blue fake fur. I pulled it out. I don't know what animal it came from, but whatever it is, some little blue thing is dead out there. But I had to
Monster 7, that's it.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about how you started. You know, both of you are producers and directors and everything like that. I kind of want to hear. Let's hear from Angie first. How you started doing that? You did Blood Manor, and then how did that transfer into you doing film?
Well, I've been working. I actually ran a haunted house in New Hampshire before I moved here. Mm-hmm. So I've been working in horror for years. And I did like tons of theater. I ran a theater company. I ran a haunted house, and then kind of like the next step for me was doing horror film. Mm-hmm. I grew up on horror film. My mom and I watched like all of the series and all the films growing up, what she called spook movies. We always watched the spook movies together. Like especially anything based in reality was like we were all about. So I kind of grew up on that. So for me, the next natural step was starting to do horror films, and it was a good transition for me coming from a theater background doing horror because it combines that kind of over the top fear and emotion that you have in theater, and then film. So that was the next logical step for me. And when I moved to New York City in 2014, it was something that I was seeking out to do.
See, and can I just ask you? You said that your mom introduced you to films. I know that I'm probably the oldest person here. So by far, what was at that time when you were a kid was the one thing that terrified you the most? What film terrified you the most?
Amityville Horror.
Oh, the original one, right? The original
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Really?
Uh-huh.
What scared you about Amityville?
Yeah, because I thought it was going to happen in my house.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Didn't we all?
Yeah,
that was a great movie.
That was really, that was one of the scariest things.
Can I say that when that story came out, I was around. I might have been like 10 or 12 years old when that story came out. And that the idea that actually happened to somebody was so freaking scary to me. My mother actually allowed me to read the book. I don't know what possessed her, but she let me read it. And
you were 12?
I was about 12 years old. Let me tell you what she would do. She would threaten me. She said I would beg her if I could. I said, Mom, can I stay up and watch Creature Feature? Or can I stay up and do this? And she goes, you can stay up and watch it, but if you get scared and you come in my room, I'm going to beat your behind. So this is literally what I would be doing during a film. I'd be like this, watching it in my house, and I wouldn't make a peep. And if I was scared, I would just act like I wasn't scared, although I was terrified. But that's how my mother, that was it. She let me watch films because I loved horror films so much back then. But that
I actually met Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Really?
And I didn't know that they had investigated that house until I attended a speech that they had, a program that they were giving, and they talked about it. And it was mind-blowing listening to all of the evidence that they gathered, all of the investigating that they did in Long Island at the house, all of the family that they met and they interacted with, especially Lorraine. Lorraine was like the clairvoyant one, and she was the one that was really interacting with the spirits there. So that was totally fascinating, and probably took the experience of Amityville Horror in the movie and sort of blew it up in my mind. I definitely had like a haunted experience as I was growing up, and but it wasn't Amityville Horror haunted, but in my mind it was Amityville Horror haunted because of that experience.
Yeah. And that, right, the thing about it is a lot of people that said that house wasn't actually haunted. For those of you who are viewing it right now, we all live in the New York area. So that's in Long Island. A lot of people still drive by that house. And the house has actually changed. Yeah.
Totally. You would never recognize it.
You would never it's totally redone. You would never recognize it, but still people find it. They still drive by it and they find it. The house has switched hands at least 6 or 7 times since that happened to the family that was there, the Lutzes.
Yep. Well, it's funny. I actually just moved to Long Island like a month and a half ago. And the first thing we watched in the house was the entire Amityville series.
Yes. Yes.
And the Bradford Exchange actually released a series of haunted houses so that we actually bought the Amityville house to commemorate the move. So I have like the house now.
Did y'all go buy it? Then you have to say it. You weren't tempted, were you tempted? You had to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to live in Long Island, and I tried to get my husband to make me, to drive over there, but he wouldn't do it. So
I did a show.
Now that I know, Lizzie, now that I know you're living in Long Island, we're going to do this, girl.
Oh yeah. I did a show in Bellport when they had a regional theater out there. I think it might even be still out there. And as I would drive back on the LIE, I would see that sign for Amityville. And one time I just pulled off because I was like, I can't go back without seeing this house. So that was pretty amazing. So Lindsay, what about you? What was the scary moment for you when you had that moment of that scary movie that really set you
I'm
off?
a little different. I was raised to not watch horror movies. I did not watch horror movies as a kid. I was not that person. I didn't grow up watching horror. My parents raised my sister and I very feminist, I guess, where it was always like, you don't want to watch horror movies. They objectify women. They're always running upstairs instead of out the door. Like, it's stupid. Don't watch it.
They are. There's a lot of that.
But I've loved monsters. Like, I've loved creatures. I loved Star Wars and all the different creatures and that kind of thing. And then I met my husband, and when I met him, he has this amazing skill where he can read a person and he knows the movie that will get them.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
he kind of said to me, do you like horror movies? And I'm like, no. And he's like, you just haven't seen the right one yet. And I was like, okay, show me, because they're always just dumb girls in white t-shirts in the rain. I don't want to watch that. He put on Ginger Snaps.
Oh,
that's a great one.
Yes.
In my life, it was a game changer because it was a smart horror movie. It was talking about women. It was talking about puberty, and it was literally comparing getting your period to a werewolf. Like,
amazing.
That was it. There was no going back from that moment for me. I was like, I love this. And he knew that, like, just from my love of monsters, a werewolf movie and a creature movie, that's what I needed.
Yeah, that's a good movie. That's a good movie.
So
that
good.
Is by far I have to say that's one of my favorites too. And it has two strong competing characters in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what I've loved most about, like, the Alien series, is that even though that was terrifying, Ripley was tough. She was fighting back and everything. I mean, that I know that horror films are kind of formulaic. And Eddie, August, you actually took a class about that. So what is it? Tell us a little bit about. Yeah.
I love that you said my real name. That's great.
Yeah. I told you, Angie, I told you, and Lindsay, I said, I'll call him Eddie. Yeah.
Oh, well. That's all right. That's all right.
Edward.
I think I just need to change my name again. That's all right. But so when I was in college, I took a class on the psychology behind horror movies. And it was like one of the best classes I ever took. And they really got into all the way back to Freaks and some of the original horror movies. What were some of the common elements that we saw, and how was it playing into the psychology of America at a particular time, and particularly the morality of America at a particular time, and the role of women and the role. It deals with so many fantastic issues in a way that allows you to deal with them by throwing something. By throwing sort of an extreme experience at you. It's kind of like comedy. You can deal with really tough subjects through comedy as long as you're making a joke out of it. Well, horror is very similar. It can take some of these topics that can somehow seem taboo or sometimes, be offensive to some people or other people, and it can really zoom in on it in a particular area, and it can really change the way you feel about a particular important topic the person viewing it is open to receiving that message because it's in this format. So we had a great time taking this class. I can't believe I actually got some points from it, but I'm glad I did. I graduated, so that's good. So anyway, the horror movie genre is so amazing. Lindsay, what is it that when did you make the decision that you wanted to get into horror movies after you saw Ginger Snaps and you were like, this is a great, amazing thing I was not exposed to?
Yeah.
What is it that made you take the next step and sort of devote your life to this particular area?
The more I saw, the more it sucked me in. Just because of what you said, we can take a monster and we can talk about a monster and we can put a social context onto that monster. And, I'm a survivor of some pretty bad things in my life. And I think that a lot of the rage and helplessness, when I started getting into horror movies, was really exercised from my body. because you get to kind of look into the darkness in a really safe way, where it's not going to hurt you. Nothing's going to happen to you while you're watching a horror movie, but you get to go through that experience. And the best part is you get to go to the other side of the tunnel. And so you're with that final girl when she's beating that guy down. And it's that victory and it's that closure, I think, that really drew me into horror. So I think it's just a little combination of just the ability to discuss things that people don't often feel comfortable discussing, but also the emotional healing it can give you. I think there's a lot of people who have anxiety that do love horror and do feel like it cleanses a lot of that pent up anxious energy that we have.
And that's so true. The journey is so important in every horror movie. It's like the thing that happens at the beginning, it forces this person to change and address something that they normally would never address in their entire life and survive it, and they are forever changed at the end. And you're absolutely right. It's this cathartic experience. And it can be really, really fantastic to watch. I mean, to me, I just love horror movies. It's my absolute favorite genre. I watch endless horror movies. But it's that common theme where you're really able to live through these characters and go through some horrific things and still come out the other side, which are fantastic. How about you, Angie? What about, actually, did you just wrap the Bloody Nun too? Is that just now?
We didn't know. I haven't filmed anything during the pandemic.
During the pandemic.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
I haven't felt like it's safe enough for me to actually do any of that unmasked. Sure. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
We actually wrapped that last year, but it's just being finished in the final post-production.
Oh, it's in post. Okay.
Yeah.
I was able to find a behind the scenes video that was on YouTube. I followed that.
What you're talking about.
And I followed it, and it was pretty hilarious, actually. I'm really looking forward to seeing it because it looks great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
It's so funny when we were at Trauma Dance with Matryoshka, which is a short that we made with Angie as a hot dog.
Yeah.
But one of the people there recognized her from the Bloody Nun, and he was like so fanboy excited over it. And I'm like, I have to see this movie now.
I'm pretty sure it was the same person that you saw backstage. Yeah.
I love it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
So which one is this? This is Angie, right?
So yeah, this is from the Sin Reapers, the TV series that I do that is actually just in the new year. It's going to be doing the next season.
Oh, wow. So give us some context about this one particular, this one.
So in this series, I play Pandora Crane, and together with Jared Scrim, we go around and right the wrongs of people's wrongful deaths. So we get to kill people in the most gory, disgusting ways, in the way that they killed whoever it was that they wrongfully killed.
Mm.
So in this still, I'm actually ripping out somebody's heart.
Ooh. Oh gosh.
Normal Tuesday, right, Angie?
Huh?
Just a normal Tuesday.
Yeah, and actually the actress that was in that, she is one of my actors at Blood Manor.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
and
really?
We're talking about that.
About that particular scene?
Yeah. So one night she wore the shirt with the hole in it, and she's like, "This is the shirt where you ripped out my
heart." Love it. Now, is this the still from a film, or is just
No, this is I had a bunch of shots done at this art studio in New Jersey by Jeff Wycliffe. And this is one of the rooms there. And I was just messing around, and I was like, wow, this turned out like actually really well.
Ooh.
But it's a beautiful, beautiful.
That is a great picture.
It is.
Yeah, he's
I love that. Oh my gosh, it says so much. Oh goodness, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Oh
yeah, no, he's amazing. And then Beatrice Sniper did my makeup, who's, I'm sure you have heard of her. She's like an amazing special effects makeup artist.
Amazing.
But she's like, oh yeah, I'll do your beauty makeup. I was like, okay.
I'm sure she was excited to have the opportunity to do beauty makeup.
Wow. That is awesome.
Yeah.
And what's this from?
So this is from Solitaires, which is a 3-part series, and I'm in the 3rd one. It hasn't been released yet. Patrick Devaney had all of us do a quarantine project. So he mostly had people that had experience directing and acting self-film. So this was all filmed in my apartment. And I got to set up the shots. I mean, obviously, he wrote the script and gave me direction from afar. And then I shot it all in one day. So
I love the lighting.
That should be coming out really soon.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
This looks really good. I love the lighting. I love the expression. This is a great still.
Thank you. I love the lighting. So with everything I had in my house, which is like nothing,
I can't wait to see what the story is on this one too.
Yeah, it should be. It's a sci-fi. Like Patrick is known for his sci-fi work. So actually the first sci-fi anything that I've done. So I'm pretty excited to see how it all came together.
Wow.
The first 2 are already online and they are amazing.
Yeah, they are. They're really good.
Okay, can you tell the audience again what that is so we can go and check it out again?
So this one is Solitaires. And it's a whole series. If you go to Patrick Devaney's page, you can see the links to the other films.
Okay, that's good. What's this one?
So this is I Waited for You, which Lindsay was producer and AD on, I think. Right? Yeah. So, and her husband Manny directed it, and my business partner from Real Prophecy Pictures, Phil Krall, he did the cinematography on it. So, and then I co-starred in this with Sarah Shoofs, and I was kind of just the bitch. I can say bitch, right?
Hey.
Well, you just did. So there you go.
But listen. They can hear that on TV. So I'm just saying.
She was a well-intentioned friend.
Yeah, I was.
This is where we spill tea. This is a place for spilling tea. So please.
I was horrible. I would hate me if I was that friend. I would hate me.
I was that friend like in high school.
Oh my goodness.
We had so much fun filming this.
Oh wow.
Actually, that day it started out I don't know, it maybe
God.
60 degrees, and by the time we ended, it got cold severely quickly. Within 2 hours it was like 30 or 40.
We were rained out like 3 times, and we just had to keep rescheduling. And finally, we got this beautiful day, and the next thing you know, the temperature just crashed around us.
Where were you at? Where'd you guys film this?
This is actually outside Mears Tavern, which is one of the oldest bars in New York City. This sign in the background is actually their historical sign, where this is where they shot the Shine Box scene in Goodfellas.
Oh, really? Wait, this is the. Did you say this is the Ear Tavern?
Nears.
Oh, Nears. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They're fantastic. This is actually 2 blocks from my old house. And Loy, who owns Nears, is really trying to embrace the community, because they've been around for 190 years. They've been open. They actually were one of the first places that Mae West ever performed. And Goodfellas was shot there. Our Heist was shot there. And he's really opened his doors to a lot of the independent filmmakers. So We shot not only I Waited for You on the exterior, my movie Misunderstood Monster, we used the interior of the location. And really great, cool little bar, neighborhood bar. Check it out if you can. He's struggling a lot with a lot of the other restaurants.
Yeah.
But he's good people.
And where's he located?
Queens, Woodhaven, Queens.
Queens, excellent.
Yeah, and they just signed a new 10-year lease, so they're going to be around for a lot longer, which is awesome.
All right,
thank God for that.
Thank goodness, yes. Now this is a film. This is one of your shorts, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is one that you all did together in collaboration. I'm correct.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, so tell us a little about this, because I don't know if a lot of people know what a matryoshka is.
You said it right. Good for you.
Yeah, that's impressive.
What does people normally call it?
It's a Russian nesting doll.
Yeah. So if you remember back a couple years ago, The Conjuring actually had a competition where you had to create something that was in the Conjuring world. Mm-hmm. And you just had to create a short film, and then the winning short film would win a meeting with Lionsgate. Mm-hmm. So my husband and I were like, we got to try this. Take a shot. Why not?
Sure.
And so it was right as Annebelle 2 was coming out. So my thought was, when I came up with the idea, was, well, Annabelle's a doll. Why not stick with the doll theme? So Matryoshka is a nesting doll, the Russian nesting dolls that all fit inside of each other. So my original story for this was about a girl who goes to a garage sale and finds the Matryoshka doll there and brings it home, and then she opens the Matryoshka doll and a demon is unleashed from inside the dolls. That it was trapped inside this layer upon layer of dolls. We didn't win, but the good news is, if you didn't win, you get to keep your idea. So my husband and I are huge fans of the No Sleep podcast. I don't know if you guys have. It's amazing. It's an anthology show. It's just incredible. I think they're on like season 17. It's really good. But we were big fans of one of the authors, Manon Lizette. And so we contacted him and we were like, we have this idea. Would you be interested in writing a script for us? Because we don't really know where we want to go with it. But we want to have something Halloween-y, and we want a lot of blood. Mm-hmm. And here's the initial idea. And Manon came back, and I think maybe we asked for 1 or 2 minor rewrites, but we loved the story immediately. And so then we put Andy in a hot dog costume and went for it.
Well, you all have obviously won a lot of awards. Look at that. Look what's decorated on the bottom of this. That is amazing.
Yeah.
I love the idea too. I love the idea.
And this was actually filmed in my apartment.
Yep.
The first film to be filmed in my apartment. And it was crazy. There was a lot of blood and
black paint and
whoa. So who cleaned that up?
We all did. We collectively.
We actually shot.
So, do you rent or do you own? I'm just curious.
I rent.
We actually shot it between Christmas and New Year's Eve, and so we wrapped on New Year's Eve the kind of the B-roll and the finishing, like the effects stuff. We wrapped on New Year's Eve. So we're literally like waiting for the ball to drop on our hands and knees, just scrubbing.
We were like trying to hurry and clean. We're like, we gotta go do something. The ball
drop. Well, I actually wanted to talk about one of the films that you did that we talked about, which was The Attack of the Brain People.
Yes.
So that's like totally like, okay, we know this has to be a send up to Ed Wood. Yes. It has to be, who is one of our favorite directors.
Ever. We love Ed Wood.
Ever. I think I can't. First of all, the fact that they redid the movie, that they did the movie with Johnny Depp and stuff like that kind of just brought all of that to light. But it made you understand him a lot more. But we have at our job, we used to do a Friday night Fright Fest, and for Pride this year, we actually showed Oh, what's the movie? Joe?
Glenn and
Glenda. Yes, we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, Glenn
Yeah,
and
it was
Glenda.
Glenn and Glenda, which I had never seen before, but it was very interesting. So I wanted to
Amazing.
know, obviously you're a fan.
Yes.
What was the idea behind this, and was it just as campy as an Ed Wood movie?
Yeah, we the way we explain it, it's if Ed Wood directed Night of the Living Dead.
I love it.
I did too.
So it's a funny story. So our first feature film is called Blood Slaughter Massacre, and it was an homage to the 80s slasher. So of course we have all the typical, the girl in the shower, girl and the boyfriend making out, all the different tropes that you would expect from a slasher film. And one of them is, of course, a slumber party. So we have our girls at a slumber party, and all the boys are going to sneak over, and they're going to, invade the girls' slumber party, and then they all get slaughtered.
Yeah, the guys always bite it. It's true.
So as part of the slumber party, we wanted to show them watching a movie because it's the 80s, and we actually found, we made a video store that they could go to. Actually, we found a video store. And we shot in the video store.
Wait, y'all found a video store? It still exists?
No.
Where?
No, It's closed. It was actually closed, and we used their space and filled it with our own VHS collection.
Oh, that's such a good idea. I love VHS, by the way. Love it.
Oh my gosh, did you get the feels? Because
Yeah.
I missed that.
Oh my God. The owner was super nice, and he also gave us the horror section sign.
Oh, I love it.
So it's like our pride and joy. Because this was actually the video store. My husband and I, the first thing we had together was a video store membership. And we literally just went down the entire, that's how I learned about horror movies. That's how I just fell in love. We went down the entire line of horror movies and just rented them all. We shot actually at that video store. So the girls rented the video, and we have them come back to the house and they're watching the video, but we didn't want to do like the typical, you throw that Night of the Living Dead on there. So we shot one scene from The Attack of the Brain People, which our co-writer he came up with the title. And it's literally brain creatures have come to life and are attacking the townspeople. So we shot one shot of the mad scientist letting the brain go, and he's like, "Go on, Sesame 58, destroy." That was it. That was the whole thing. That's all we shot. It was like a 2-hour shoot that we did it. And the entire cast and crew loved it so much. Then when we wrapped on Blood Slaughter, they were like, "Oh my God, we need to make Brain People now." And we're like, "We just made a feature film. I don't have a dime. I don't have any more money. There's nothing." And every single person volunteered their time, volunteered services, like gave us props, everything that they possibly could.
Oh, wow.
So we put together, my husband, Louis, and me, we each wrote, it started off as a web series, so we each wrote 2 episodes. And then we kind of just decided it worked better as one solid piece. So now it's like a really short feature at like 53 minutes. But yeah, we went total camp with it. We had a brain mold. So we did the top of the brain via the mold and then just filled them with insulation spray. And we just tied fishing line onto them and just threw them at actors.
I love it. I love it.
And then we actually shot a lot of them in reverse. So you would like drag the brain, and then it does.
It looks like it's walking.
Wow.
So we did like a lot of really old school effects with it. It was so much fun to shoot. It was just a blast. It was just so fun and cheesy and campy, and it's totally in the 1950s. So like they're like, "Oh, those communists,"
There's nothing better than horror and comedy, like horror and camp. Like it's like this beautiful marriage. I love it. I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, to me, those are my favorite films, and it has a little bit of comedy in it that makes you laugh after all the terror.
Eat it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now you all have an anthology that you're doing called Dark Tales from Channel X.
Yes.
That, so I actually got to view that today while I was working. And what?
I won't tell your boss.
Shh, don't tell. But I loved this anthology. I loved it. And the one that I love the most is, I believe it's the Au Pair.
Yes.
Yo. That gets a yo. That scared the bejesus out of me.
Yes.
Who came up with that? And I don't want to give it away because honestly, I just want to. Yes, it's short. I want to encourage the audience to go and check this anthology out. It is so good. It's so dark. The mood, the theme, everything around it. Who came up with that concept? And how can I be in it? I'm doing that. I totally love this.
The Au Pair is actually my sister. She had a baby now. I mean, now she's not a baby; she's going on 5. But when she had her first kid, she hired an Au Pair, and I had like never heard of this before, and I was like trying to wrap my head around the whole thing. So of course, horror filmmaker, worst case scenario, what could happen, and that was pretty much the outcome.
Okay. I hope I'm thinking about the right one.
You are.
This the one with the husband and the wife?
Yeah, with the baby?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. I have to tell you that I consume a lot of paranormal television, authentic paranormal television. In fact, my YouTube runs all night with paranormal stuff. My husband thinks there's something wrong with me. So
I can't do that.
I fall asleep with it on. With it on. Like it'll just, how it happens if the next video comes on.
Oh yeah, it'll just play and play.
It just plays all night until I wake up in the morning and realize what I'm watching. But that to me reminded me of something that I've seen on a real paranormal story.
Mm-hmm.
That was so good.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to watch it now.
It was
good.
Really good. It was really good. Now, how do you release these episodes? Do they come out like once a month? How are you all doing this anthology?
So we started, a lot of those are short films that we did previously, and we kind of realized that there's a theme to how we make movies, my husband and I. Mm-hmm. There's always an object. And so we kind of came up with this idea of creating an anthology that revolved around objects and the powers and the evil that can be connected to them. So we shot a wraparound story, and we're currently in post, but this is going to be a full feature, which connects all of the stories together. So we're in post-production on that. We're hoping it'll be done by the end of the year. Early next year, but we're pretty close.
So Angie, you're involved in this one as well,
yeah,
right?
I think that The Au Pair was the first film that we worked on together, right?
Yeah, it was.
Ooh, outstanding. That's all I would say. Outstanding. And that's saying a lot for somebody who loves horror films.
Yeah.
Has just gotten bored with them because they're not scaring me anymore, because there's just so, they become so passe and so predictable.
Yeah.
That was hella good. That's all I had to say. It was really good. It was really good.
I think I'm in 3 films.
3. You're in 3 of them.
And then I assistant directed the wraparound.
Yeah.
I saw the one that you were in, I think too. I think I saw that one. So the premise is that this show, that this channel,
mm-hmm.
it releases an entity. Is this correct? Because I want to give everybody kind of the premise behind it.
Yeah, we call him the viewer. Way back in the day, and you guys might remember this, there was an incident called the Max Headfield incident.
Okay, That is what I was trying to get you to say. That is what I was trying to get you to say because it totally reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Or the movie VHS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love VHS. I think VHS is a great movie.
Yes. So that's what I was trying to get you to say. But go ahead, tell everybody kind of give the concept behind it.
So Max Headfield, I can't remember.
Headroom.
Max Headroom. There you go. So when you go back to TV times when it was like, you know, the antenna on the top of your TV, and it wasn't like this digital stuff, the analog, there was a capability that you could, if you were close enough to a TV antenna, you could break into the signal. So Max Headroom was another character on another show, but a sort of TV hacker used his mask and broke into the signal of his TV station, I think in the middle of Doctor Who.
Yes, it was. Yeah. I remember that. So it was a renowned incident where somebody dressed up like Max Headroom with the head on and broke into a TV station. It was the first time anybody had ever interfered through the radio waves and just came in and was seeing like just doing all kinds of crazy
weird
stuff.
like he was like I'm sideways, and like he had like this weird spinning thing, and it was like people were like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So that's what we based our viewer off of. So our viewer kind of our wraparound, so there's a babysitter, she's babysitting, classic trope, and she stumbles on an old TV set. A millennial trying to figure out a TV with like, the rabbit ears, like, you know, like, what is this? What's happening? And the viewer breaks into the TV and starts to show her these stories. And she gets more and more drawn into her own danger.
Yeah. And she likes going to babysit. That's the thing. She loves going to babysit because of this particular, he's like, she's addicted to these
videos. She gets more addicted and more drawn in by them.
Yeah. And it kind of, you know what I have to say, it's an archetype of people who love horror films. You know, this is what you do. You're addicted to those kind of films. It's the rabbit hole that
you watch with your videos, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You're addicted to it. You know, you just go down this deep rabbit hole of stuff.
Now, the interesting big news on our front is that actress was actually just cast in Tyler Perry's new show. So she's actually one of the main characters in the season coming up.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So she's, I mean, but you know when the people say like when you saw somebody and she's going to be a star. Manny worked with her, and Manny and Phil actually worked with her on another project for another couple of local female horror filmmakers, Rogue Chimera, on Father of Lies. And Manny came home and was like, "We need this girl. She is incredible, and you can't take your eyes off of her. She's amazing." So we actually flew her out from California.
I know, right?
Yeah, her hair was beautiful.
Oh my God,
beautiful girl.
She's amazing. I saw the trailer. She's amazing.
Yeah,
she really is.
Congratulations to her.
Yeah, it's awesome to see that she just started acting maybe a year and a half ago, and already but that's how she was. She just captured your attention and held it.
Wow.
I just want to say that if you click on the comment section of what you're looking at right now, you see people commenting right now.
Yeah.
So you have some people that I think probably know you commenting.
Oh yeah, there's Nelson.
Yeah.
Aww. Hi Nelson.
Hey Nelson.
And Annie. Yeah.
My husband.
Hey. Thank you all for tuning in.
Yes, thank you.
So so we're waiting now for the wrap up of your film.
Yep.
We're hoping that this can be, released soon.
Yeah.
Where can we find you all, online? So I know that you have your own channel and everything like that. And where can people find your films? I know that the Dark Tales from Channel X some of them are on YouTube. Where can we find the rest of your films so that we can purchase them?
We're on Amazon, so come out and support us to Amazon. Attack of the Brain People, and our newest one, Theta States, which is a psychological thriller about nightmares. We actually have that on Amazon as well. So Brain People and Theta States are both on Amazon.
Okay. That sounds good to me. Theta
Adding
State,
to my
Theta
watch
Bun.
list right now.
Yeah, me too. Right now, I'm putting it in there. I'm putting it in there.
Excellent.
So I
So,
go ahead. Go ahead.
so do you think we need to talk about Friday the 13th?
Yes. So this
Yes.
is the thing.
I think we do.
Today
Amazing.
Before it's the 14th, let's talk about the 13th, shall
today
we?
is Friday the 13th, you all. Friday the 13th.
Woohoo!
It
Friday the
is.
13th.
Yes. So we can't talk about now. This film has. You cannot say Friday the 13th now without thinking about this film.
You can't.
It has completely changed that date. So we want to say happy Friday the 13th to everybody. I mean, we don't want to take away from the series Friday the 13th that had Roby and all those people in it that, which we also love.
Mm-hmm.
But tonight, we're talking about Friday the 13th, the film, and how much of an effect it has had on this culture of horror. I asked you all to tell me what your favorites were, but I mean, we have a little time, but it seemed to be overwhelmingly two that were popular with
Really?
us both. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one was Friday the 13th, the first film.
The first one.
So how can you not say that this didn't have the effect that it had on you? It was the first of its kind. I mean, we had Halloween, but this was just a lot more brutal, a lot more graphic, than Halloween. Wouldn't you all say?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was the time of the mystical slasher that could never be killed.
Well, when they made this movie, they said they were trying to do a takeoff on Halloween. So this is there's no.
Well, can I share a fun fact?
Sure, absolutely.
Of course.
That's what you're here for.
Spill the tea. Spill the tea. Come on.
Bring it down, girl.
So this was one of the other movies that changed me as a person into a horror person. One of the very first horror conventions my husband and I went to was Monster Mania, which is down in Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Of course it is.
Yes.
Monster Mania.
Yes.
Love it.
The very first one we went to, and we met Betsy Palmer.
Love Betsy Palmer.
Well, we wanted her to. We actually were trying to get her to come here tonight.
We can't.
Yeah.
We can't get Betsy Palmer.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
No, we literally.
It's
can't
gonna happen.
Betsy
It's gonna happen. Put it in the universe.
I don't think we'd be able to. I'm not that crafty.
Don't worry about it. We'll get it. Okay, so go ahead, Lindsay.
So Betsy, if you've never experienced Betsy at a horror convention, people are missing out. She is amazing, incredible. She loves this movie, which is really funny because she didn't start out loving this movie. She literally took the gig so she could buy herself a new car, but she learned to love this movie. So when she's at the horror convention, she would scream, my son, you would get in the elevator and she would turn around and she would just look you dead in the eye and be like, you let my son die. Character,
oh my God.
It was amazing. She was.
Oh my God.
So they were interviewing her. And I was like, I need to see Betsy Palmer. And so they started this conversation with her, and she's kind of going on about how she kind of started this movie. And she says, well, we get to the part, and I talk to my director, and I'm like, what is my motivation? And he looks at her, and it's kind of like, your son's dead. What more do you need? And she came up with this backstory where Pamela Voorhees was a young girl. And she had a steady boyfriend. She had a pin, she had his class ring, and she gave into the pressure to, sleep with him. And she wound up being pregnant. And this is the backstory she created herself. And when her family found out, they turned their backs on her, and so did the boy. And when she decided to go along with pregnancy anyway, she had him, and clearly he was deformed. And the family told her it was because of the sin of what she did, and that's why he came out this way. And so she came up. She's she did everything she could to keep the two of them afloat and keep him fed and happy. And, took the job at the summer camp so he could experience camp like a normal kid, and when he died, she had been living for him for so long, she literally didn't know how to live anymore.
And she literally came up with that.
She came up with that herself. And that's what fueled that entire performance.
Oh my gosh.
What an amazing actress. She's
you know what's
incredible.
very interesting here? This is what's so very interesting about it. That whole motivation drove this whole series.
Yeah.
This drove this whole series, her doing that. And she probably didn't make any money doing this film when it came out.
She made just enough money. I think it was a couple $1,000s to buy herself a new car.
That's right.
And then she got paid, I think, for the part 2 to come back and kind of do some of that. And then every other time that her image was used, she was not paid. $5.99, my husband.
that was such a pandemic at home moment. I love it.
Wow.
Yeah, because I think they did her face up for part 2, where she would be on the table. Her head would be on the table.
Actress that was in there. Yeah. She came back to do the ghostly parts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Wow. Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm. Wow. So, but now, it has solidified her as this Jason's mom forever.
Yeah.
It has solidified her forever with that role.
Yeah.
Nobody can match that. Nobody.
Yeah. And there's Kevin Bacon.
This is one of Kevin Bacon's. This is Kevin Bacon's first film.
Yes. First film. Yes.
And he died gloriously.
Yeah.
Oh, so beautifully. And at the hands of Savini, right?
Yeah.
Tom Savini.
Tom Savini actually did that. That was
amazing.
So he was laying in the bed, right?
Oh, of course.
Through his throat. The knife came through his throat.
Tom Savini came to Blood Manor a few years ago.
Oh my God, he did?
I was just like, oh my God.
Oh, I would have freaked out.
I was acting at the time, so I was just like put on the best performance you can possibly muster. And he was like standing there and like watching me. I was just like, oh my God.
Oh.
I would have freaked out. If Tom Savini was standing there.
Oh my gosh.
Totally.
He has his own horror thing that he does now in Jersey, right? Wow.
So, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, we are totally going to that.
Oh, let's all go together.
Yeah.
I'm sure that one is going to be really, I'm saying Blood Manor is good. Blood Manor is good. I have heard stories about Blood Manor. I've heard stories about Blood Manor.
I'm Blood Manor alumni too, so.
Oh.
Yeah, we had that. We didn't even know we had that connection when we met.
We didn't. Yeah, no, I was there 2008 to 2010 or 11. And then you came in 2014.
2014,
right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that.
Wow. I was told that Blood Manor was so scary that somebody told me they wouldn't go back anymore.
That's good.
That's a positive review.
They don't like horror films, so I was like, ooh.
Listen, they have T-shirts now that say "I peed my pants in Blood Manor."
Yeah.
I will break every single one of those.
Yeah.
Well, as long as you all are not doing what's his name's Manor?
McCaney Manor.
McCaney Manor, yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I would go to that. Like,
no.
I've like thought about it. I'm like, I don't think I could do it.
No.
We actually did that. And you have like a whole thing that you have to fill as a 40-page commitment form that you have to fill out.
A release form, right.
Oh my God.
If I die, I will not, no one will
sue you.
I would work there now. But I wouldn't go there as a patron.
It's good to know where the line is drawn.
I would work there, but I'm not going to go in. No.
Well,
have you guys seen the movie Haunt? Can I just throw this out there?
Go ahead.
On Shudder. This movie Haunt captures what it is when you go into your very first haunted house.
Wait, really?
It's amazing.
Okay, I have to watch
it.
Amazing.
I'm writing this down.
That, like when you have your nerves and you kind of like laugh awkwardly when something kind of scares you, but you see it shouldn't have scared you. It is. I'm sorry, it's so good.
It's a movie or a docu?
It's a movie.
Okay.
But it's like it's the killer haunted house. It's the one that you never escape from, you know?
Right.
But just the feeling of it, of having them walk through the house and nothing really happens, but they're just like creating that dread and that tension.
That anticipation. It's
Oh,
wonderful.
so
It's so good.
It's so good.
I love it. It's like Jaws, right? You never see it, but you're like,
Yeah.
oh, you know it's there.
I love that. I love that.
Well, before we go off of Friday the 13th, that also starred Adriana King, and who's amazing, Harry Crosby, who is the son of Bing Crosby, which is the coolest thing ever. Filmed at Novi Bosco, which is still open, and they do tours right now of the camp. So anybody who's watching can take a tour of that. The film was made for $550,000, and it looked like it made around $40 million.
Yeah.
And still continues to this day.
Yeah.
That's right.
Still
So it was like, I just love the original Friday the 13th. I think I'm a super fan. I watch it anytime I see it on TV. I watch it all the time. I even love the opening credits.
And we even play the video game. We even played the video game.
Ooh, I haven't done that yet.
Oh no, we must play the video game.
We have to play the video game. But I have to say that Dead by Daylight actually beat out Friday the 13th for me. But it is fun. You have to play this. These are horror survivor games that you just are going to absolutely love. And we maybe should get a shot of that one night of all of us playing it.
Yes.
You all are gamers.
Completely.
And speaking of that too, the Camp Crystal Lake tours that they have, they are looking for people to go to this tour. They actually sometimes have celebrity guests to show up for these tours, but you actually stay in the lake houses and stuff that they have there. We did sign up to do it. August and I did sign up to do it. It hasn't come to pass yet. Yeah.
I got chosen to go. Like, it was so popular, you had to go on to it was like a lottery system or something. And I got chosen, but I had to be out of the country for that particular freaking weekend, and I was so annoyed. And I got the overnight. I was like, so upset. Anyway.
We'll do it. Well, it'll happen.
Oh, it's coming.
Anyway, let's move on. So the second most popular one that we all chose was Friday the 13th, the final chapter. That was the one that we all chose.
Chapter.
Yeah.
So what is it about this particular one that we loved so much? What did we love about this one so much?
I have a story about this one.
Ooh, go ahead.
And it's just this was the first rated R movie I ever saw in my life.
Wow.
And I went into, if you can imagine, I bought tickets to a PG movie and then snuck into the rated R movie. And as you do. And so I would go in there, and I forget how, it was 1984, I think, that it came out. So I was like, I was 9 or 10 years old. So I knew nothing of horror movies. I just thought this was the most amazing thing that I'd ever seen, and it scared the heck out of me. I had no idea that I had no idea of special effects or anything, so I just thought they were hiring suicidal actors, I guess, and they were really killing people. Like, I thought you only get one take, They just sort of, okay. So I thought this was real, and it freaked me out so much. Every time you heard every time you heard that, I would get so freaked out, I would run out of the theater. And the problem is, the theater, the poor other people in the theater, every time I opened the door to the theater, it would open it up to the lobby, and all the light from the lobby would come in, and like the whole screen would turn white. Oh. And I was the most hated person in Danbury, Connecticut, that entire day, because every time it was a kill, everybody was waiting in anticipation for the kill, and all of a sudden the lights would go up and nobody saw what the actual kill looked like.
And like the worst part of that whole thing is that there was no VHS, there was no cable, there was like none of like this DVD thing. So it was like they paid to see that movie that one time.
I know. I really screwed up.
Get that
shit out of here.
They're probably talking about it right now.
Yeah.
Remember when we
remember that kid? Yes.
They were throwing their popcorn at me there. I was not very popular.
Well, this one had Corey Haim in it.
Yeah.
Corey Haim, yeah.
Yes, Corey Haim was in this one, or Corey Feldman.
Corey
Feldman, one of the Corys, yeah.
Yeah, one of the was Corey's plays, and it's where in this one, as we all know, he emulates Jason, a young Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was smart enough to do that in this particular one. But I love this one because at least, I saw some vulnerability in Jason just for that moment.
Yeah.
That moment when he tilted his head, that I was like, ooh, he got him. But then that's about it. After that, he just became a killer machine. It wasn't anything like that. But it made him stop in his tracks for a moment. And I was like, oh, this man can be stopped. This creature can be stopped.
I also feel like this one had like a real like story build to it. Not that the other ones didn't, but like it almost reminded me of like an Alfred Hitchcock film or something. It has that like nice build to what's actually gonna happen, which what's inevitably gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
But like when he took him up into his room for the first time, and you got to see all of the like props, and that was really cool. Like loving monsters like I do. Like it was just, I was like, oh my god, that's like a kid's dream room that is into horror,
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
I think that's what's so great about this one is it's not like your typical like cannon fodder teenagers.
Yeah.
There is a family and there's a tragic family that's trying to heal, and you care more for them than just like this group of kids that like wander into like the woods that they shouldn't be.
Because a lot of them, you're like, okay, please kill them.
Yeah.
But you don't want the family to die. Like, you don't want poor little Corey Feldman to die.
No,
you didn't want him to die. You really didn't. He was so good in this. He was acting. So good. Yeah, he was really, really, really good in it. But he was a beautiful child actor back in those days. He had a lot of gravitas. So
also the special effects in this, I thought were like
amazing,
really cool.
Yeah.
Like you guys remember when they when she gets like pushed out of the window and like falls on the car and like the windows in the car shatter? Like probably that wouldn't actually happen. But like it was like such like a big like boom special effect.
Yeah.
It was great. And you had Crispin Glover who was
oh my
in
god,
this.
Yes. What was this?
Oh my god, the dance of Crispin Glover, which I read was actually how Crispin Glover dances.
Oh, really?
I read this today when I was doing some research. And how he dies, he gets like the wine thing in his hand and then on his face.
Kill.
Really good kill.
Yeah.
And then the other kill is the woman who gets the spear through the bottom of the raft.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's a really good kill.
Yes, that was a good one too. That was a good one. I didn't think
that was
about
so
that
funny.
one.
I was watching when I was catching up on my little research here. Corey was actually they wanted to cast him. They really liked him, but they said he's a little too small. They were concerned that like how do you have this like especially a smaller size kid take on Jason, and so they the casting agent went and told his mom this, and his mom was like, listen, they really like you, but they think you're a little too small. They're concerned that you're not going to sell this machete. And he said, well, let's give it a shot. Give me the machete. And in the casting call, took the machete and just started hitting the ground to prove that he could do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. I love stories like that.
Actor, like that's like, no, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, he was determined.
And he's like, die. Just like,
that's how they
the best.
decided to use that part at the end.
Let's face it, a lot of directors, they don't really know what they're looking at. They have an idea, but somebody can come in and change a director's mind immediately. They're just like, wait a minute, this is totally not what I expected, but I want this person, So
Totally.
that's just a word of advice to a lot of those actors out there who are thinking that they don't fit the mold. If you want a role and you think that you're the best for it, you can go in there and change a director's mind. You can take a casting director's mind. You can change their mind.
Mhm.
So that's, in that sense, that's what the case is. Now, I don't have any footage to show this, but I have to tell you, there are a couple of them that are my worst favorite, least favorite Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
And both of them.
I know you're going to bring this up, Les. I know you're going to bring this up.
And both of them, my friend August talked me into going to see.
In the movie theater.
In the movie theater. And paying $20 to go see it.
She's never going to let me live this down.
No, I'm not going to. The first one that we went to go see was Jason Takes New York.
Jason Takes Manhattan.
Jason Takes Manhattan. Yes.
Filmed in Toronto.
Filmed in Toronto, yes. Filmed in Toronto, because we knew that it was not, that we knew there was no street in New York City that was ever that clean.
No. Especially then.
Yeah, especially then. So we went to go see that, and I was like this the whole night, looking at him.
I thought it was great. I thought the girl played the electric guitar. That was a great kill.
Right.
That was a really good kill.
Yes.
The rest of them are
dead as soon as you saw her playing that electric guitar too.
It's true. It's true.
No, and then he tries to fight him. Like, let's get into a boxing match. Like, that's great. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's good.
And then the guy on the roof that gets beheaded. One of the best kills. Yes.
There are some good kills, but I mean,
well, there are some good kills, but
the acting is questionable.
It's not worth $20 worth of kills for me. That's not it. And then the second one that I absolutely could not stand is Jason in Outer Space, and he took me to go see that one. So, look, even you all have to sigh over that one.
I know.
That's funny.
I loved it. I don't know what people hate that movie so much for. I love it. I think it's the cheesiest thing I've ever seen.
It is. That's why, because it's like maybe too much cheese.
It's
too much.
And I like cheese. No.
I don't have a good cheese-o-meter. So for me, the more cheese is better.
Now it's funny. On our podcast, me and my husband, the Collection Resurrection, we did our least favorite, which is actually one that we've skipped. That's the problem with sometimes my husband's horror education that he gave me, is like, if he knows it's bad, he's just like, don't worry about it. We're just going to skip this one. So I actually went back for this because I was doing this and I was like, oh, I don't know what we're going to talk about. Part 5. Can we talk about how bad Part 5 is?
Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that one. Let's talk about that.
Total shift for Part 5. Yeah.
Yes. Let's talk about that one.
I don't understand the hillbillies. Can somebody explain that to me? Why they are so over the top? Why? Just explain it.
It makes zero sense. Part 5.
And why hillbillies? Why hillbillies? Of all things, why hillbillies? Maybe was that a hillbilly year? Because
I'm afraid of hillbillies,
Well, this is one of the main problems with this movie. It starts out in like Connecticut or New Jersey or something like this, and all of a sudden we're with hillbillies, and we're still supposed to be in. There's no hillbillies in Connecticut. Not talk like that.
No,
they don't exist.
And then it's not even that we start off there. Because we start off in a dream, that then goes to another dream, and then we have another dream that's in a dream, that's in a dream, that's in a dream. It's like, I don't even know.
It can all make sense.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I don't know. It must be fine.
And it doesn't make any sense. Then the ending, he's in the hotel room, he's in the hospital room, and she hears the loud crash. And it's like he threw a rock out the window to make people think that he jumped out the window into a freaking hurricane just so he can sneak up behind her.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're right. That one is not my favorite.
No,
I gotta say.
But you know what? That isn't one of our favorites, but thank God I didn't pay $20 for that.
All right. I'll pay you back. I'll pay you back.
That's okay.
God.
I still love you. I still love you. And I do want to do, we have to talk about Jason versus Freddie. We have to talk about that.
Oh.
How we all waited for that. And I think that August and I, we went to go see that at the theater too. We did go see that.
We did see it in the theater.
Because I remember I couldn't wait for Kelly Rowland to die.
Oh yeah, we were both like, thank God Kelly Rowland died. We were both celebrating?
Yes.
We're like, yes.
Sorry, Kelly, stick to singing, girl. Because her acting was so bad in that. It was so bad. I just
the dress down by the tree, I can't, when she's like, you know what, you? And I'm like, oh no, we're going to talk him to death. We're going to talk him to death. Okay.
Exactly. When she was trying to go sister girl on Jason. And I was just like, it just was so bad. It was so bad.
It was so bad.
Okay, but can we talk about the folding bed death? Because I'm sorry, that was
amazing.
That was amazing.
So
that was
good.
amazing. That was amazing. I would say I would rate that as a 10 kill. That was amazing. It really was.
Great.
So good. It was so good.
Yeah, I wish I would have had like a little bit of footage of that. I have to tell you, it's kind of hard to find any of the kill footage online.
Really?
Yeah. You might see the beginning of it, but they really don't show the kill footage online.
They want you to pay for the rental.
Exactly. They actually do.
$20.
So I have to say, we just got the Shout Factory box set. If you get a complete one, because they had so many problems with this box set, but we actually lucked out and got a complete set of them. It looked great.
Oh my gosh.
I need encouragement to watch like Jason Goes to Hell again. I tried to watch that once, and then I was like so disappointed I couldn't continue. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, where's Jason? Jason is where?
I know.
Where is he? Wait, he's that person? That's not Jason. That's some other person. Where's Jason?
You see, Jason's on we're in hell waiting for Jason.
That's exactly right. I felt like I was in hell.
Well, I guess we could all agree that we would all make a better Friday the 13th film, than a lot of people, because we're fans. We're fans of the genre.
Well, there are great fan films out there too. Great fan films.
Yes, and so the thing is that we want to pay homage to it because it has that much of a fact that we are all sitting here talking about that particular franchise. Yeah. There is none like it, and even though it was copying Halloween, it just pretty much went on a thing on its own, and it became a success on its own. And I would even say, despite the fact that I'm a huge John Carpenter fan, that it probably has a bigger fan base than the Halloween franchise, because it is just so kitschy, because it is so, it's so thought out when they have the kills, because Jason is who he is. Something about that particular franchise people really identify with.
And also, I think even people that, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think even people that aren't horror fans and like aren't fans at all have seen at least one of the films.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. True.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because totally, that was not growing up a horror person. Totally had those moments on Friday the 13th when I was having a slumber party, and it's on Pix 11.
Totally, I remember that.
And it was edited.
And all the girls are like, "Oh no, this is too scary," and they turn it off, and I'm like, "Yeah."
I know.
But your only opportunity to watch it.
It's the only opportunity I had to watch it. I'm out of my parents' house. I'm at a slumber party. I'm crazy on candy and sugar. I need to watch this, and they all got scared. All those girls were like, "No, I can't do it."
Lindsay, you didn't have the right friends back in the day. Right?
I did not.
You didn't have friends that loved horror.
I love when they overdub for TV though on horror movies. That's some of my favorite lines ever. Like, you ever watch The Exorcist on television? My mother sews socks in hell. Do you ever hear that? It's so funny.
You know what I think it is about Friday the 13th? I think that so much of like their cast of characters, like their cannon fodder that they create every single movie. There's always an outsider, you know, whether it's Adrian King in the first one, Ginny in the second, Ginny in the second, you even Tommy, like he loves horror movies and he likes math, and it's always the people that are on the outside that always kind of get the better of him. You know, and I think that's what people really respond to, that there is someone that doesn't fit perfectly in the group.
Or doesn't fit the mode of what his intent is, like what he, you know, every kill that he has, or every person that he kills, they fit a certain mode. There are these, you know, negligent camp people, or you know, they're consumed with themselves, or they're doing whatever, and then there's just one person that does not fit
like
the mode.
sex.
They like sex. There's this one person that does not fit that mode, and he has to figure that out, because he's conditioned to go after that particular type of individual. So that's very interesting. Before we go out, Lindsay, tell us a little bit about your podcast, the Collection Resurrection.
So Collection Resurrection came from the quarantine. My husband and I, we have, I think, over 1,200 Blu-rays and DVDs, and an additional 600 VHS, I think.
Wow.
We're very proud of our collection.
That's amazing.
We got to the point that it was like, okay, I'm like in quarantine. I've watched everything there is on cable. Like, what else we're gonna watch? And it started with a fight not a fight, but an argument we have a lot, where I'm always like on with the remote, just like clicking through my streaming services. There's like Netflix, Hulu, Prime, Shudder, like, and he's like, we have all of these movies. Like, why aren't we watching them? And so we made a deal that we would watch the movies that we have purchased but not opened, and not viewed. And so we started the podcast, literally opening a different movie, and we had like 10 questions that we discussed, you know, and we've been doing that since, I think, April.
So what have you recently discovered that you were like, boy, I wish I would have watched this a long time ago?
I love Canadian horror.
Really?
I have no idea, but like all of these crazy movies we keep finding, because I have found that Vinegar Syndrome is my brand. Like, they have the types of movies that I love, and I think, August, you should check out Vinegar Syndrome, because they have the cheese and like those kind of off the wall movies. Like, there's one called The Pit, which is like a teddy bear friend comes to life and convince a little boy to kill everybody, and I'm like, how did I not know about this?
That sounds great.
Yeah, and so like we bounce all over the place. We've done everything from like Vincent Price, we've done Poe, we've done Lovecraft. You know, my husband goes more towards the more extreme ones or the scarier ones, and I always go to like the more cheesy ones. But yeah, I really, Canadian horror, for whatever reason, like I love it. And it's funny, like I'll watch the movie having no idea, and then we actually read the back of the movies, you know, so I'm like, oh, this Canadian horror cheese, and I'm like, another Canadian horror.
I love it. They excuse me, they really love cheese in Canada. They love it. They love to eat it, and they love to watch it.
Put it on their
Everything is about cheese.
Layers.
And they love to say out. Like, get out. Get out. Get out. Totally.
Oh, in their films, they like to say get out.
Oh, they just walk around and say that to each other. Just normally. Get out.
All right, ladies, where can we find you on social media? And we definitely have to do this again. I really love this.
Yes.
We have to bring you back on again. This is some great energy here. And next time we have to have Annebelle, so it'll be like 6 of us on here or 5 of us on here. That would be really a lot of fun.
Totally fun.
But where can we find you on social media? You know, so people can start following you, liking your content. Go ahead, Angie.
So on Facebook, just Angie Hansen. There's a picture of me, so you'll find me that way. And then on Twitter and Instagram, my handle is ADH on the road, which are my initials, Angie D. Hansen on the road, because I'm always on the road to doing something new. So that's the way you can remember it. And you can check me out on IMDb and find links there too.
Good. How about you, Lindsay?
You go to massgravepictures.com. That pretty much connects all of our stuff. Social media, I'm massgravette. So it's massgrave ETTE, like a rocket.
I like that. I like that. And where can we find you, August?
Where can you find me? You can find me right here. I'm right here.
Every
Friday night with my tea.
Yeah.
At 8 o'clock. You can find me on Cliff Dive Productions. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook, and we'll add it to we'll add everybody's handles and links and all that stuff to this broadcast so that everybody has links to it.
So thank you, Angie and Lindsay. This has been an awesome segment. I'm just like, I'm sitting here right now thinking about what's the next thing that we can all talk about and just like fanboy and girl over. So I'm so excited. I can't wait to have you all back. Thank you all so just being so flexible at the last minute and being so gracious and being so lovely to come on here.
Thank you for giving me something to do on this quarantine Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. I might be hitting you up a lot because, this is the thing right now. You have a captive audience, so this is the thing to do.
I'm here.
And it's a lot of fun just to get together with people to talk about things that you all like, the same thing that you like, same like-minded. Before we usually on our show, we do we end our show by looking. We do a thing for people that are missing, people who the FBI have on their list that have been. This is part of our segment that we really are. It's kind of hard for me to talk about it, but I just really have a heart for people who have been missing. And so we always end our segment with somebody that's missing. Right now, there is this epidemic of women who are indigenous who are missing in Canada and the United States. So tonight we're going to actually bring up somebody who's missing, that has been missing since June 30th, 2019. Hash, can you go ahead? So this is Jamie Lynette Yazzie. She's been missing since June 30th, 2019 from Pinon, Arizona. She goes by aliases Jamie Montoya or Jamie Yazzie. Her birth date is September the 13th, 1987. She has brown eyes. She's 230 pounds. She is Native American nationality. She has black hair. She's 5'5", and she's a nursing assistant. The details are that she was seen on the evening of June the 30th, 2019 in the area of Pinon, Arizona, within the boundaries of the Navajo Nation Indian Reservation. And the FBI is requesting any possible information regarding her whereabouts or the details and circumstances surrounding her disappearance. Now, if you have any information about her, know where she is, or you've seen her, please contact the Phoenix office of the FBI. Their number is 623-466-1999. That's 623-466-1999. The Cheney Police Department or the FBI local office or the nearest American embassy or consulate if she is out of the country. As always, we want to give prayers out to anybody out there who is missing a loved one. We hope that you will be able to help out her family. She's a missing auntie, a missing sister, maybe a missing mom. We'll see you next Friday here at 8 o'clock. This is the Tingling Tea. Have a good evening.